We are now halfway through 2025. If you are currently still feeling stuck and unmotivated, or maybe you're feeling lazy or lagging behind, and you know that you could do better, you know that you could be doing more, you know that you could be more successful, that you could be making more money, that you could be showing up as your higher self, but something is standing in your way, this is the video for you. I am so excited for today's video because I'm not just sitting by myself. I have two special guests that are going to be sitting in with me, and we are going to be talking about how to level up when you are feeling stuck, unmotivated, or lazy, especially before 2026. I am a coach that wants to see some action. I don't care about your words. Everyone can talk, but not a lot of people are able to put in that action and really climb when things are hard. And so in today's video, I have two powerful women that are going to share a lot of wisdom with you along with myself. Be sure to grab your pen, your paper, send this video to your favorite girlfriend. I'm also here in Orlando. I came to see my client, which is sitting in with us today. She graduated from law school. Let's get into the video. Joining me are these two amazing entrepreneurs, and they have so much wisdom. And in today's video, the girls are going to be talking. They're going to be filling your spirits. Now, ladies, I would like to know, and we would like to know, your name, your age, and your favorite hobby.
Definitely. Aloha, everybody. Thank you, Shen, for inviting me. My name is Kelly Gomez. I'm originally from Medellin, Colombia. I am 28 years old, and one of my favorite hobbies is rollerblading on the wild.
Ooh, yes. You can also find her on Instagram
As Kelly_Airbnb expert, as well as on YouTube as Kelly D. Gomez.
What's your name?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. I am Sharon Zuniga. I am 30 years old, and one of my hobbies is I love to lift weights, and I love to volunteer in my community.
And you pretty much know who I am. My name is Shanice, your favorite coach, and I teach you all about self-development, healthy habits, and becoming your best self. I am 30 years old, and one of my favorite things to do is work out. You guys know I live in the gym. I love fitness. Ladies, I would like to know, what is it that you are currently doing in your life as an entrepreneur?
Right now, I am focusing on real estate investment properties. This has been my focus for the last 9 years. And I started it 2 years ago, my new entrepreneurial business, which is the Woman Empowerment Show. One of the main reasons why we are here. I realized that behind the vision of success, there is a purpose behind everything we do. And when we empower each other and when we unleash that power that we have within, we can really be the creators of our own life. So my goal right now is to empower not only women but men. That's why I call it the Woman Empowerment Show, is the union of both, so that we can start creating the life that we want.
Beautiful. How about you, Sharon?
So I just graduated law school. So my main focus is becoming an attorney and just influencing others to reach their highest potential and becoming the best version of themselves.
Beautiful. Sharon here has become one of my clients. Feels like I've known her forever. Yes, it's like a soul sister. Honestly, we connected immediately, and I had to fly out and just celebrate her graduating from law school. So ladies, drop down below some love down below for Sharon, because we love that. Reaching higher, aiming higher. We got to encourage one another. Now, ladies, I have a question for you to start off our talk here. So tell me, before you became the woman that you are today, what was your mindset and your discipline like? Because I've spent a good amount of hours with you yesterday, and my mentor actually introduced me to you, speaks highly of you, along with Sharon. I met you through YouTube. You became a client of mine, and I grew interest into mentoring you, and then into a friendship, and I've learned a lot. I've seen you hustle behind the scenes, wake up at 5 a.m., train, do every task that I told you to do. So, ladies, I want to know, what was your mindset and your discipline like before you became this driven woman? This woman that I'm seeing right beside me is filled with a lot of grit, a lot of energy, hunger, not just for yourself, but for the success for other people as well. So, you are looking to build a community. And so, I love that.
Thank you. I always saw myself striving for success. I grew up in a country, in a third world country, Colombia, and ever since I was there, I knew that I needed to put myself in the rooms with the people that were going to help me get to where we were, because the context of where you place yourself, it defines your growth. You can either be on a circle or on a cage. I remember always asking a lot of questions, always going, surrounding myself with usually older people. I have never really fit in my age box, and so I feel
Very
like
similar.
yes, and so I feel like I was always asking, being very curious, being okay with taking the risk. Moving to this country was one of the biggest decisions and risk, also together with my family.
Did you ever see yourself being this woman that is so driven now?
I had seen it. I didn't know it was going to be through real estate,
Yeah.
but yes, I had somewhat something inside me always told me that I was needed to share the word. Since a very early age, I have been around cameras and stages and communicating, being a portadora de voz, a speaker of sharing the movement, sharing the truth, embracing each other. So I feel like the discipline has definitely changed and gotten better through the years, especially because of mentorships, people like Roberto that have been in my life, that have been pushing me to move forward, but always having a curiosity mindset, I feel like has been the key. And as a supportive mom, a supportive dad, a supportive family around myself that believe in me, sometimes even more than I believe in myself. So
Yeah.
that's why I feel like it is key and important to surround yourself with people that inspire you and the people that empower you to take more risk.
Sharon, what was your mindset and your discipline like before law school, maybe even in the beginning stages of law school? And I know you just graduated, so you're just getting your foot into where you're about to step. But what was your mindset and your discipline like? Because you woke up this morning at 5 a.m., or you started training at 5 a.m., one or the other, but I couldn't do that.
Oh, wow. So for me, 10 years ago, I would not imagine who I am today. And I feel like we are always becoming a better version of ourselves daily, right? And that's my biggest goal for myself. And when you are able to reach that potential where you're currently working on being a better version, it actually allows the people around you to also strive to be a better version as well. So the person I was 10 years ago was very codependent on just a situation that I was already in, and I was very complacent. And I remember being in bed just scrolling, like zombie scrolling on social media. And I realized, no, there has to be more to this. So with the support of my family members and my friends, I was able to apply to law school. I got into law school, and things just started to flow for me. The more that I put myself out there, the more life was more receptive of me, and I just continue to show up. And even if I don't feel 100%, I show up. Regardless, I had my last final last week, and the following day my classmate is like, oh, did you just wake up? It was 10 o'clock in the morning. I said, no, I've been awake. I went to the gym. My routine continues. Whether there's a good day or a bad day, you wake up the next day and it's a brand new day and a brand new start. So the person that I was last year, even 6 months ago, is not the person who I am today. And we're ever evolving, we're ever becoming something better daily. And so for me, again, to see the person who I was at the age of 20, when you think you have everything figured out, and then you look back and you say, thank God I'm not the same person who I was when I was 20, 6 months ago, or a year ago.
Right. I love that. She is so right, guys, because you know what? Oftentimes we think we have it all figured out. But you know what? As you start to find yourself, you find more clarity. With clarity, you start to check your habits. Do they align with how you live your life daily? And so when I met Sharon, we were working on, you see this higher version of yourself. What can you do daily? What can you add into your routine even for 15 minutes or 30 minutes that's going to really make a huge difference to where you're going to be in the next 6 months. And so one thing I had her doing was waking up early. She was really good at that from beginning, but we got tighter with it. We learned what she was eating so that the food also aligned with her goals, because a lot of the times you're like, oh, I'm eating healthy, and you think you're eating healthy, but then you're gaining weight, gaining excess body fat, and you're like, I'm training and I'm not seeing the results. Or you're studying, but you're part-time distracted by your phone as well. So you need to be really zoned in on everything. The little details do matter. They add up to the bigger picture. So every fine thing that you do daily is going to lead up to where you are today. So we had her making sure that she was going to the gym a certain amount of times per week, and also studying amount of times per week, making calls in her real estate career a certain amount of times per week. We did a lot, and you've got to do a lot. Discipline will require you to sacrifice parts of you right now for where you want to go in life. Discipline requires you to sacrifice where it is that you want to go in life. It requires you to sacrifice right now. So if you are looking to become a higher version of yourself, or a healthier version of yourself, or a more confident version of yourself, what can you sacrifice today, right, to become the woman of your dreams?
I also want to add, looking at the bigger picture, the longevity of your life. For me, I look at older individuals in their 70s, 60s, 90s. How do they look like? Are they good posture? How are they eating? Are they in good health? Because
Aging well.
yes, absolutely. And so when you also see somebody who's already doing something that you want to accomplish, reach out to that person, see if that person is willing to help you get to your goals. But always look at the bigger picture, look at the longevity of it. And I also have that belief that somebody out there is willing to help you. So ask somebody for help. Hey, I need help with XYZ. I need help with my finances, my health, my education. Asking for help allows that person to give you an opportunity to learn and grow. But because if you do not ask for help, nobody's willing to help you. If the person denies the help, keep moving forward until you find the person that does say yes. You don't need everybody to say yes. You only just need a few yeses. So even if you hear no over and over and over again, you have to continue every single day like it's a brand new day, because somebody may say yes, and that yes may go ahead and elevate your life to a place where you have no idea where you're going. And it's amazing.
An entrepreneur mindset.
Absolutely. I feel like putting in that uncomfortable place, learning how to be comfortable through the uncomfortable, because growth comes from those spaces where we have to expand. I want to bring up also that next time that maybe you're having even a bad day or something is not going right, change your mindset into aligning in, instead of why this happening to me, how I can grow from this, what I can learn, because there is not really a failure unless you give up. And every time we fall down, we can just stand back up, learn from our mistakes, and continue to go. And I remember the 10 years, thinking about the 10 years ago, there has been moments where I thought maybe, I don't know if I'm going to make it, I don't know if I'm going to be here in this country. I actually thought at the beginning that maybe I will have to come back, because it was a lot of pressure, a lot of things, a lot of cultural shock
Very
and
brand
everything.
new to you.
Yes, brand new to myself. But it was the ongoing and the constantly seeking for growth, asking the right questions, putting myself in the rooms that will allow me to learn and to see farther away, to see the big picture. Because when we focus on the life situation, we can get involved in that. But remember that life is just so huge. There's so many immense different possibilities that we can create. And it's all up to us, up to the vision and the focus that we decide. Where we decide to focus, that's where we attract.
Ladies, they are dropping so much knowledge for you. Oh my goodness. Can we show them some love down below? Also, their Instagram profiles, how you can get in contact with them, will be linked down below. I also believe Kelly here has a YouTube channel as well, so make sure to go and show her some love. Moving on to the topic of mistakes. When did you decide that you wanted to start learning from your mistakes instead of being a victim?
That's actually an interesting question. So for me, I went to college. I lived the party lifestyle. I was really involved. I grew up super sheltered. So when I moved out of my parents' house and I was in college, I wanted to experience it all. And I really held my value and my worth on men and other different avenues that really weren't getting me anywhere. And so I moved down to Florida. I ended up getting my undergrad from UCF, and I went into law school. And honestly, the thing is that God really changed my life. And just having that solid relationship with Christ was really what transformed my life. But realistically speaking, just having that past allows you to learn and grow from it, and then you move forward. You can't live in the past, you can't live in your past mistakes. You have to move forward and always strive to be better every single day.
I love what you said with God changing your life. I was saying this to someone yesterday. I said, God sets the foundation of standards. You know what I mean? And I feel like because I grew up in a Christian background, that I was so rebellious as a child. I was rebellious in my early 20s as well, before I decided to dedicate my life to God. And you know what? I made a lot of mistakes, but it's because I didn't have the standards. I grew up reading the Bible, but I didn't want to practice those standards of the right way. I wanted to be disobedient and learn. I wanted to try and explore. And you know what? I found a lot of chaos. I found a lot of turmoil. I found a lot of bad energy and a lot of baggage that I'm now free from because I have been forgiven. God doesn't expect you to be perfect when you come to Him. He doesn't expect you to ever be perfect, but He does expect you to learn and always want to do better. There has to be a moment in your life where you're like, no, even if I'm scrolling on my phone for an hour, I know I could be doing better with my time. So it's not like you have to be out here living a very wild life, right? You could just be wasting your time arguing with someone that you love, or arguing with yourself, your inner dialogue, or just wasting your time on social media. It could just be as simple as that, where you could be striving for greatness, but instead you are conflicted. And so God always sets the standard, and sometimes we don't realize that we do need to aim higher. Every single day requires us to aim higher. And that's really important for you to realize when you're making mistakes and learning from your mistakes, so that you can stop making the same mistakes. You're going to make mistakes along the way, but don't make the same ones at least more than twice.
There is a quote by one of my mentors. His name is Paul Gautel, and he says, there is no mistakes, just misunderstandings. And the reason why I bring it up is because, just like we're talking about, we're not going to have mistakes, but we're going to consistently have situations in our life that allow us to look inside and to tweak. And sometimes it can be just maybe like a 2 millimeter shift. Tony Robbins talks about this as well. It says when you're playing golf, the 2 millimeter change can really make a huge difference and impact when we look at it at the macro spectrum. And going back to mistakes, so in my career, being also more vulnerable, I feel like from the beginning I was going more for the hustle and the idea of success, in a way where I thought that I needed to do whatever it takes to achieve that point of having the nice car, having the nice house, having the perfect lifestyle. And there was a point where I reached that and it felt empty. And I realized that what I was going for was the false idea of success, but not really being fulfilled. And I realized that often I will probably be technically almost even wasting my time, because I was working without the presence of purpose, without giving time to my inner self, to my family, to the people around me. Mm-hmm. And it was after COVID when I started realizing the importance of being more in tune with myself and actually being of service to those around myself and to me. We cannot fill any other cup if we don't have our cup filled, right?
Kelly, I have to stop you there. I really want you to share that moment of your experience of filling your cup, in that moment where you felt really lost, your emotional state of what you felt that you needed to do and how you went about doing it.
Yes, so it was actually around COVID time where I started asking myself a lot of questions. Who am I? What am I really here for? What is actually my purpose in this planet Earth? I have all these things that I had accumulated around myself that actually were being a weight instead of helping me move forward. And that's when I decided to take a one-way trip to Hawaii back in 2021 after COVID. And I got there, and there is one specific experience that I had. I was going this mountain, which is called Haleakala. I was driving all the way to the top. It's a really high mountain, and the top is actually on top of the clouds. So it is very magnificent, and I highly suggest that you guys at least one time in your life, if not more, but at least one time in your life, go there, you guys as well. It is a place that can definitely change your life. So I was there driving with my partner going to catch the sunrise. So it was dark, sometime around 5 a.m. Once we got there, he actually became a little sick. There is a really strong energy in this place. So he became a little sick. I was driving by myself, and I came out of the car and I was looking at the horizon and the clouds. I'm literally on top of the clouds and I'm looking at everything and I'm feeling this peace, this calm, this ease. And I felt like something inside of me in my chest opened up. And something up in the clouds opened up and it connected somehow line. There's not really a way for me to describe this, but what I saw was right in front of my eyes. I saw a movie of my life, literally. If I was looking at a teaser of my movie, of the best memories of my life just passed really fast on top of me, and there was a message that said that everything in my life was about to change, that the person that I was until that point was actually not who I actually was, and I was going to go into this journey of really defining myself. That specific moment, I didn't really fully understand what it meant. It was just like an overwhelming emotion, right? Everything was happening. That was back in 2021. Now we're in 2025. Ever since then, I've been in a self discovering journey, giving myself to God, giving myself to service, giving myself to really what matters instead of the materialistic. And yes, I like to have nice things. We all live in a gratitude mindset, an abundance mindset. But what I have doesn't define me. And I understood that is the key. It does not define us because every single person, each one of us, and every one of you that are looking at this, you have a gift. You have a unique gift, your purpose. And we come here, we're meant to share that with everybody, and nobody's going to take it from us. So it doesn't matter how much more you do, there's always going to be enough for everybody. I truly believe that. And I truly believe also that it doesn't matter where we come from, what color, what race, it doesn't really matter anything. What really matters is what's inside of you, and that force, that fire that God gives us, that puts inside of us, is what's going to fuel us to really reach any goal that we set our mind to. I'm really truly believer that you are the creator of your own reality and you are the one that define where you want to go.
That was so beautiful. So I have another question. Now that we go back to self-development and developing yourself and you having that moment to work on yourself and find more clarity about who you wanted to become, shared yours. At what point in your life, Sharon, did you have this awakening? I deserve more. I deserve better friendships. I deserve to treat myself better. I deserve the best around me.
So I definitely lived a life of complacency. Whatever my parents would give me, anything that I would receive, right? And so with that being said, you have to come to a moment when you realize you truly deserve much better. So I went through this journey of making sure that my relationship with God was right, making sure that how I treat others, how I treat myself is right. But there just gets to a point where you just get exhausted of the same thing. You just get exhausted of the life that you currently have. And that is the best time to realize that you need to move forward. If you have this sensation of frustration or that something needs to change, yes, that means something does need to change. Your gut will tell you exactly what is wrong. If you have a conversation with somebody and you sense something in your gut, the conversation's wrong. You don't have to be complacent with your job, with your relationship, with a man, with anything. If something does not serve you, you politely just let it go and you move forward. But for me, a breaking point was just that feeling of frustration. This can't be it. And so I had told my parents, listen, I love you guys so much and I'm super thankful for everything that you guys give me and provide me, but I need to soar like an eagle. And so that's when I decided to actually move out this year. And so at this point, I am 30 years old. I am towards my last semester of law school, and I decided that if I don't step away from this environment, it's going to hinder my growth. And so sometimes it's going to be a relationship that's going to hinder your growth. It's going to be a career that's going to hinder your growth, or a job, or an employer, yes, or a friend. Oh my goodness. And you'll go through a season of solitude while you're trying to rebuild yourself. And a lot of people don't realize that, but that season of solitude makes you who you are. And it's such a gift. And right now, I currently don't have a partner. I'm single. And for me, this season of singleness is such a gift to me. Why? I'm able to do so much. Yes. And we go through seasons in life where things are going to be amazing. You look amazing. And then there's seasons where you don't. But that is life. Life is about seasons. Life is about that growth. And just like how we have seasons, winter, summer, spring, and autumn, it's so important to incorporate that into our lives. If it was sunny all the time, then nobody would understand how amazing a day is in the sun, or a winter day is. And so for me, yes. And so life is about seasons, right? But every single time that you sense that the conversation's not right, the friendship's not right, it's a good indicator that you need to leave that situation, and you just politely just move forward. You don't have to make a show and say you are the reason why. No, because we are not playing the victim mentality. We are dealt with certain cards, but that doesn't mean we have to continue to play that game. We can go ahead and change the cards. We can change so many things. And like Kelly was saying, we're all here for a purpose, and nobody will take away that purpose for you. So there's nothing better than you being your most authentic self, and you can do that by glorifying yourself, glorifying God, and glorifying others. The way that you speak to others, the way that you speak to yourself is so, so, so important. And again, you want to look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of every single thing that you are, of your accomplishments. You want to look back at your life and say, I was able to accomplish the goals. The worst thing would be the day of your deathbed and think, I didn't do half of the things because I was too afraid to do so. I didn't have enough faith in myself to do so. No, you have to continue to grow and move forward, because what's the worst thing that can happen if you ask somebody out or go ask for a job interview or an opportunity? Worst thing they say is no, you move forward. And that's the grit. Every single day you show up like nothing bad happened yesterday, because even the day will be broken up into wonderful things that happen in the morning, awful things that happen in the evening. But that awful thing in the evening can't deter all the beautiful things that happen during the day.
Ooh, strong.
Yeah.
Good. I told you I was bringing wisdom to this environment, so I really hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Honestly, when it comes down to where I was, I'll talk about myself a little bit. Prior to starting my YouTube channel, guys, I had already been running a successful in-person personal training business for women. And I just knew inside I felt empty. So you can still have success and still feel empty. Yes. You can have everything you want. I had a nice car. Y'all know I have a really nice car. I have a nice life. My man is an amazing man. He's very generous, very loving, very caring and supportive. I have an amazing mom, just amazing people around me, because I decided to upgrade my life 5 years ago. However, within my upgrades, I still felt empty. And I just knew that I could serve more, I could do more. And I had a client that asked me, hey, can you make YouTube videos so that how you speak to me in person, I can have that forever? And so I started it because of you, Paula. And it led me to actually meeting, right, from a subscriber to a client to a friend, that a friend introduced me to a mentor, and a mentor introduced me to Kelly, a new friend. And now I have so many reasons to come back to Orlando, but I have powerful bosses in my life, and you guys get to meet these amazing women as well. And there's tons of women empowerment groups that are happening throughout Orlando, which I can't wait to come back to and for, that these women are going to be connected in. So definitely, if you are in Orlando, go and look them up and try and get connected. But also, ladies, you are not going to have it all together, right? And sometimes we're stuck in our head, we're doubting ourselves, we're doubting our capabilities, but we forget that you will have seasons and you really got to push through. Your mindset development is so important for you to stay in solitude sometimes when you're doubting yourself, when your inner dialogue is fighting you. You really have to become aware of those issues and not look to other people to fix them for you, or to look to distractions to fix them for you or distract you from it. Because you know what? Oftentimes when I was empty or distracted, I had bad coping mechanisms, right? I would party, I would stay out late, I would sleep in. And those things were only delaying me from meeting my client, making a new friend. Can you imagine that? And then finally I got tired and I was like, God, please work in me. In 2024, January, I started my YouTube channel and I was consistent ever since. And I knew that I had to let go of my fear, of my doubt, of my distractions so that I could become and start to show up as the woman God called me to be, standing in my purpose, which was beyond the good life that I had already created. No, there's more beyond your outfit. There's more beyond what you look like on the outside. There's more beyond your car and all the designer bags. There's more, and it's going to come from inside of you. And when you find that fire on the inside, that is what is going to make you never feel empty ever again. Because I could be wearing a garbage bag and you would still listen to me. I could be wearing a garbage bag and I could walk into a room and my presence would be bold, my energy would be bold. Anything that I would say would be filled with wisdom that anyone would listen to, because I'm working on my inside first. And you have to develop yourself first, mentally. The faith that you have to build, the discipline that is required, the consistency when everything feels so hard and you don't want to go to the gym and you don't want to study and you don't want to stay single, you don't want to stay in your solitude moments. Those moments are necessary for your growth. Ladies, do you have any questions so far that you want to ask?
What has been in your career? What has been the biggest obstacle that has shown you the biggest lessons?
So, what has been the biggest obstacle so far in my career? I would say it would be a personal obstacle for me. I currently get asked all the time why I don't have more subscribers or why I don't have more of this or more of that. My energy, my presence is really bold. I could take the world with how I feel, with how God is moving in me, my message, my love, my character. I can be friends with everyone. I will support everyone. I'm here to fill and grow. I'm here to serve. Why don't I have 1 million subscribers? Well, you know what the obstacle is? I stand in my own way because of my own disobedience, because I know that I have to change and surrender a lot of things that God wants me to surrender, like my cleavage or maybe how I used to dress versus now. We've come a long way. There are a lot of things that are going to prolong your success when you are disobedient. And I feel like I've been disobedient for so long to the standard of God. And when I get closer to Him, and as I get closer to Him, I learn that my old self, being promiscuous, being stubborn, being this person that stayed out late, being that old Shen a long time ago before I started my women's personal training at 25 years old. The woman I was before was somebody who was lost and catered to the world. And as I was glowing up, I still brought in a little bit of baggage with me. I wasn't so willing to surrender it at first. And I'm sitting here today knowing that I have to surrender. You know what I mean? By the way that I dress alone, that makes a huge difference to people taking me seriously. I literally have been in Orlando for the past 24 to 48 hours, and based on how I dress has allowed me to shine differently, shine brighter, be a lot more presentable and stand as a leader instead of a human in this world. I stand out beyond my body, even though it's nice, but there's a lot of things that I just have to surrender along the journey to become my higher self. And I think being disobedient was my biggest obstacle, still my biggest obstacle. And a lot of you guys are stubborn. And I tell you all the time, so I'm gonna tell you right now, you're stubborn. And the more you lean into just accepting that things need to change so that you can become better, the faster you will become successful. And I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about God will give you that, but He will give you more when you're actually living out a purposeful life. Dressing, talking, like anything that you do, how you lead, and what you're going to leave here as your legacy. That's really important. Good question, girl.
Thank you for that.
How about you, girl?
I feel like this is a question that you may get often, but motivation versus discipline, right? A lot of people deal with motivation. I don't have the motivation. And I also notice that a lot of people that say, I don't have enough time to work out, I don't are also the same people that say, I don't have enough money, right? So how do you shift that mindset between motivation, which is temporary, versus just straight up discipline? It's gonna get done, remove the emotion.
Oh, I love this. Do you know how I built my discipline, y'all? Because when I feel like a lot of people look at fitness as you have to look a certain way, and that's why you want to achieve your fitness goals. However, when I first started my fitness journey, I was coming out of a relationship, and he was the bodybuilder. He was the one who loved working out, and I just saw the confidence in him that I didn't have. And he was so disciplined. He ate clean. I was the girlfriend that would come around with all this crap takeout. And, I more so struggled with gaining weight than losing weight. I had a hard time. So I was really malnourished. And because my self-esteem and confidence was so low, I really just always accepted the bare minimum because someone chose to be my boyfriend. And we broke up. That is when I was like, you know what? I want to go to the gym. I want to learn how to feel that confident and feel really good. And so I started going. And just like many of you guys, in anything new that feels really unfamiliar or uncomfortable, you start to doubt yourself. You're like, maybe I'll come back next year, or maybe this isn't for me. But I had to keep going regardless. So understanding why you're doing what you're doing is so important to fuel your discipline, right? Motivation is going to come and go, but when you remind yourself of why I had such low confidence, I had no confidence, I had no self-esteem. I really just wanted people to see my body. And I thought at a young age, many of you guys will agree that you just offer your body. I'm sorry. You literally just think society just makes you feel like that is the first thing that is going to make somebody so attracted to you or make them stay with you, love you, put you first. And it truly doesn't. But you know what? When you become confident, when you become more self-aware, and you start to stand in your purpose and you start to see God allowing you to take care of yourself financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you don't rely on other people to motivate you, right? And you don't look for motivation. You just remember your whys. And then when men don't treat you right, it's a bye-bye because you now know how to do it for yourself. And then you set a standard to how you allow anyone. It doesn't have to be just a man. It could be your friends. It could be anyone from the street literally walking up to you. They need to come correct because you have a certain standard. So discipline is really important because you need that in your life to get to higher levels. If you didn't have discipline, you would always stay at the bottom of the staircase, at the bottom of the ladder, and you'd be waiting for somebody to lift your glutes up or to lift your heels up and be like, let's go, it's time. Yeah. Somebody to pull you, let's go. No. In your stomach, I'm sure you can clench your abs together and you can pull yourself up and you can climb. If it was a life or death situation, you would do it. So you have to look at your goals. It does not matter the obstacle. I want it, I'm going to go and get it. That's discipline. If it matters to you, you will make the time. If you were about to fall, you would find the strength. So it doesn't really matter. You do not have an excuse. So if people really wanted to make a difference in their life, they would stop at nothing. You know what I mean? She came to a new country and knew I'm unfamiliar, but I'm going to go to certain spaces that I'm going to be able to ask questions. I'm going to get some no's, I'm going to get some yeses, but eventually it's going to lead me to where I see myself. And look at her now. Right? So that's why I say, guys, motivation is going to come and go, but your why has to be so big that nobody can shift your course, right? And when you're doubting yourself, go to God. He's going to provide so much clarity for you, so much clarity and understanding because before he formed you, he already knew why he wanted to create you, a specific person. Each one of us has a specific reason for why we need to be here. Not he wanted you to be here. He needed you to be here. He needed you to go through seasons that were filled with turmoil and doubt and chaos. He needed you to have those things so you could have testimonies and sit here and raise each other up. Don't think that your testimony or your obstacles or your story is lower than another. No, you can fill other people's cup, and you can find fuel by filling other people's cup, because at the end of the day, you're here to serve. So you will find value when you work on yourself. And when you're disciplined and you cut off all ties that are not disciplined, trust me, you will see your life change for the greater, and you will be able to attract good women.
Wow, you are fire queen.
No, you ladies, I'm in awe. I'm so
love it.
proud.
I am an as well, and I want one of the things that you just mentioned, that it is a life or death situation. Taking every single day as an opportunity of rebuilding ourselves, and every single second pretty much, because we don't really know when we're going to be here until, right? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So reminding ourselves each day, each morning, every time that we wake up, that we have the opportunity to create a new life today, right now. Why not go all into it and actually embrace it like what it is? Because nobody's going to come here to save us, right? There is no storytelling of the prince going to provide for you. We have to be our own princess and princess, our own queen and king. We do have the ability from God that has been given it to us to be those creators, because remember that we are here as an image of him, just like the creator that he has. We are also the creators. So taking that fears of, if you don't know exactly how you're gonna get there, what matters is just to take action, continue moving forward, because emotions is what creates that motivation. And then once you have that motivation, the discipline, the momentum is going to allow you to continue to refill that. Then yes, we have seasons. We're not gonna always be perfect, because we cannot see the light without the dark. So we have to experience the duality as well in our lives to be able to appreciate, to understand those moments that we have at peace.
Beautiful.
What a privilege and a pleasure it is. Honestly, every single year I write down my goals, and one of them was, to meet Shanice or work with Shanice. And to be here today, it's just when you put in the work, when you put yourself out there, because faith without works is death. You can be praying 24 hours a day, but if you do not put the works, God's not going to just give you that. Or you could be working 24 hours, but you have no faith. You're not going to get to what you necessarily need to do. So you just have to continue. It's a balance. It's a balancing act between faith and works, and belief in yourself, belief in God, and believe that everything works out in your favor. And even when things don't work out as you plan it to be, know that it's working out for something much bigger. You look back 5 years ago and you say, thank goodness I got that rejection. Thank goodness I didn't get that job. Thank goodness I didn't get accepted into that program. Thank goodness I didn't get accepted into that university. Why? Because God will shift you, and your life will go ahead and align exactly to what you need to do, and it'll show you the right people. It'll show you the right situations. When you align with your purpose, everything just flows. When you're aligned with your purpose, it flows. It's easy. When it's something that it's not meant for you, you're going to see that no, you're going to see that rejection. You're going to see that moving forward. And so you just have to continue to go with the flow with the things that you need to do. With that being said, if you have a goal, you work towards that goal, because you can't just have faith and not have works to back that up. It has to be that unity for you to get to that goal accomplished.
Ooh, this has led me to a question, because I'm sure people are like, you guys are hustlers, but when do you rest? Right? And yesterday, actually, I met Kelly yesterday after church. We were at the church called Journey here in Orlando, and preacher was actually talking about rest and the importance of rest. And that's why I want to really ask you ladies and I also asked you yesterday, what were some things that you like to do when you're not working? But what is your form of rest and how do you fill your cup? And when do you know that you're feeling low? At what point do you feel like you become aware, I need to take some space, or this is what I need to do for myself? And then what do you do about it?
So for me, I just graduated law school, but I was a law student.
Oh, sorry. Girl, tell them about your schedule. Just give us a little breakdown because I know your schedule and I was like,
yeah.
wow.
So I wake up between 4 to 5 in the morning, and around 6:15 I'm at the gym. So around 4 and 5 in the morning, I'm journaling, I'm reading my Bible. I make sure that my spirit is right before I leave the house, because once you step out of the doors, you have no idea where you're encountering. You have no idea if you're coming home. And I just want to make sure that I'm right. So I do that. I journal. I pray every single morning. And if I have extra time, I meditate on what I want my day to look like, my ideal day to look like, because there's always things that may change. I will go to the gym, an hour and a half. During the gym, I usually have my school notes, or I'm doing multiple choice questions, and I will be going to class. And then I'm part of a few different e-boards with the Christian Legal Society, the Real Probate and Property Trust Estate, and I was doing real estate as well in law school. So I was getting pulled in multiple different directions. And if you allow it, the world will consume you. So you need to know that you are in control of your time and you are in control of your day, right? So for me, something that was really heavy on my heart at the beginning of this year was observing the Sabbath. So can you imagine the creator of the universe, God, took a day off? Why wouldn't I, who I'm just a mere little human, not take my Sunday off? And that really is a proof of God's testament, show of rebellion to society, that you are taking a whole day off to do what is good for you. And so also when I'm studying long periods of time, you sense it. You're like, I need to do a 15-minute just lay down power nap. And so you start to sense your body. You have to really listen to your body. When are you full? When are you hungry? Have you drank enough water? And so you just have to listen to yourself. But you as well, once you start to prioritize yourself, that people will notice that this person values their time, this person values who they are, and this person values what they bring to the table. And so same thing, I will go to a meeting and I don't say a single word, but because I'm at the meeting starts. And I'm just like, that's because you show your worth. You show the world how you want people to treat and perceive you. You are in charge of that. You are in charge of your time. And even people who have 9-to-5 jobs, or people that are working 12-hour shifts, you are still in control of your time. You have time in the morning and you have time in the evening. And so for me, I did a bodybuilding competition while I was in law school. And so everybody was like, how did you do it? Law school, bodybuilding competition. And I placed first with true novice and 5th overall. And I did that. I was drinking my 2 gallons of water and I was in school and I was writing my thesis. Why? Because if you want it, your mind will go ahead and work towards it and you will go ahead and eliminate distractions. There was moments of solitude, moments where I wasn't on social media, moments where I skipped out on 4th of July's, birthdays and stuff like that. Again, I'm not saying things have to go that extreme all the time because there are seasons to everything.
There are seasons.
Yes, please don't let me scare you into being extreme, because you have to enjoy those moments with your family, with the people around you.
But honestly, y'all, I think we only appreciate when men go to the extreme, but women, when you really have a bigger vision, sometimes you do have to go to the extreme. So I wouldn't even apologize for it, because you do have to go to the extreme when you really want to reach a higher level in life. So well done. That's why you graduated, girl.
That's true. If we want to be extraordinary, we need to take extraordinary actions, because the repetition of habits, that if we keep doing the same things, we're going to continue having the same results.
100%.
So unless we actually take that leap and take that jump and decide to go fully into and be obsessed with growth, be obsessed with our purpose, be obsessed
Yes.
of not giving up.
Yes.
I feel like that is extremely valuable. And going back to your question,
Kelly, tell me, when you feel like your cup is running low and you need to fill yourself back up, what are some things that you like to do? And at what point do you notice that you're running low?
Yes.
Your battery is empty.
so I'm going to start first by talking about the me before I changed my life. I used to be the person that when I was feeling low energy and I was feeling overwhelmed, I would put more work. And I will actually go more into it, and sometimes not even sleeping, and pushing myself to always do. And it was until a time when actually someone asked me, look at me, dip in my eyes, and ask me, are you a human being or a human doing? And that really created in my mind, because I realized that until that time I was just more focused on the do, and we're actually here to being and to create from the space of experiencing, of allowing things to happen to us. Of course we do need to take action, that's very important, but in the allowance of it's like planting a seed. When you're planting a seed and you want your avocado to grow, you're planting the seed, you're putting the water, but you also have to let it rest and you have to let it sleep. And there is actually, talking about church and journey, the preacher was sharing a couple weeks ago about the power of the needings of sleep. If we are always trying to control, and I used to be one of those persons trying to be controlling of everything, I wouldn't allow for God to take action and for it to actually grow at the pace that needed to happen. So then, moving forward in this new phase of my life, with this new understanding of who I am and who I'm here to do, I am taking time off by how I am meditating, I am rollerblading, I also do henna tattoos, I am taking more time to sleep, and especially I'm taking more time to be with myself, to feel that being and to give, to be fully present. So now I am, whatever it is I'm doing right now, I'm having this interview with you ladies, and whatever it is that I'm doing, I try to fully focus on the moment and perceive as much as I can and give as much as I can of myself, so that the next task that I do, I'm going to always continue to just be the fully immersion version of myself. And yes, there's times that where I definitely have to step back up, take my phone off, fill my cup in, maybe take some time to sleep, maybe take a vacation, maybe just journaling, maybe sing. I like to sing as well, to connect. And so it is very important to measure yourself and make sure that you take time off and you put it in your calendar. As important as the appointments, it is as important as the time that you need to take off, that time that you're going to spend with your family, the time that you're going to spend with yourself. So mark it in your calendar, and remember that if you don't give the time for the seed to grow, it's not going to grow.
All right. Your schedule is so important, how you lay out your schedule. And even though meal prepping may not be important to you, or reading a book may not be important to you, or laying down and just not be on your phone for at least 20 minutes may not seem important, to just schedule it in. It honestly will make a huge difference if you just added all these reminders into your phone and have gaps where you're like, this is where I'm going to refill my cup. These are necessary. I think I was reading no, sorry. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and she said that she has an alarm. One of the creators said that she has an alarm that goes off every day at 2 p.m. for her to make time for God. And no matter where she is, no matter what she's doing, she does it. So you need to have alarms. You need to have systems. You need to have a routine, a schedule, sorry, not a routine, a schedule that's going to allow you to show up for the things that are important to you that lead to the bigger goal. All right, ladies, we are closing out here. And so I would like to leave my, no. All right, ladies, so we are closing out here, and I want to leave with one question and provide some answers. What is one message that you would like to leave with the ladies for any women that are feeling like they're not good enough, or they have a lot of doubt or fear of starting or becoming, they don't know where to start? What would you like to leave with all of the ladies listening? Who would like to go first? Pass the torch.
So for me, just trying your best daily. If your best is just simply getting out of bed and brushing your teeth, that is more than enough. And slowly but surely start to be 1% better every single day. But always trust that you being on this planet, you're already enough. You do have a purpose, and you have worth to us. You have worth to your community, your family, to the people around you. So it's so important to know that you already have your worth. But each time that you improve yourself, it allows other people to also improve themselves as well. So just try your best every single day. And if you could just get 1% better every single day, that starts to compound. And you look back and you say, wow, I'm so glad and thankful that I did that.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And I will say that make a list of the things that you are either you're telling yourself of those negative things. Make a list of the negative things that you're thinking about yourself, and then analyze where is this coming from. Is this actually really coming from you, or is this coming because of a perception of the outside that you have upon you? And then once you figure that out, yes, once you figure and write down next to it what is one actionable step that you can take to change it, to tweak it. And then from there, every single day, look at the list. And just like Shannon was saying, maybe it's just waking up and taking a bath, taking an ice plunge, maybe. So do one repeatedly thing, because to reach success is the accumulation of habits, repeatedly habits, like a butterfly effect, right? So always start small, think big, but start small and continue doing those habits, and the repetition is going to help you get to where you want to be.
Exactly. Oh, ladies, you are so amazing. I'm so proud. I'm so grateful. And honestly, my biggest advice, ladies, is to just start. If I didn't start my YouTube channel, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't have met incredible, empowering women that are going to be doing big things. They're already doing big things right now, but you know what? Oftentimes we don't give women their flowers. We don't give women their credit and really acknowledge their hard work and efforts to where they are standing right now. And so I really want you to be that person that lifts another woman up. So that is really so important. As you lift yourself up, remember that you are not in competition with another female at all. We are here to contribute, serve, learn, pour into each other's cups. Don't be an energy drainer. Don't be an energy taker. Don't try and sit at people's table and try and eat off their plate either. You want to be happy for the people that are around you so God can apply that abundance into your life and the lives that are around you, right? But that cannot happen if you are jealous or envious of the people that you come across, and powerful and empowering women that you will come across. Don't be intimidated by them. They have a story just like you, very similar, right? We have so many similar thoughts, so many things that go through our heads that we doubt ourselves. Each one of us, beautiful and all. And so I really want you to know that there is a calling over your life. You were needed. That's why you are here. Not wanted, needed. Therefore, go out and really seek your purpose. When you feel empty, when you feel stuck or lost, go out and seek your purpose. Go and find, and don't stop until you feel like God has spoken to you and you have clarity. You are feeling good. Even when you find your purpose, though, remember, you're going to have ups and downs in your moods. You're still going to have a little bit of doubt and fear. And that's when you come back to God. Okay, because the world will, the perception and how we live will add only limiting beliefs. It will add a lot of fear and scarcity. And that is when you have to have good friends, empowering friends, and a community, God first in your life, for you to actually have direction to be like, I'm fine, girl. I'm going to be fine. You got this, right? Dust it off, get back up. You're going to have those moments where all you can do is take a bath. But I will say, I'm not the coach that's going to be like, no, you can do that every single day. No, no, no. All right. You take those moments of slowness and then get back up. But do not sit there. And if you have friends that are comfortable sitting there, you're sitting at the wrong table.